Hello, everyone, and welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. It is 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on July 15th, 2024. And today is the Immigration Show where I answer immigration questions, give you updates, and provide any information you need for your family and for yourselves for immigration. So if you have questions, please post your questions in the comment section of the social media app. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook. You can put your comments anywhere you're watching me right now. If you want to join me, here's a link. I'm going to put a link in the chat so you can join me live and post your questions, okay? Or you can just type them in the chat, or you can click the link and you can be here live with me. So again, welcome everyone. Today I have a number of different questions that I wanted to answer that have been asked by clients earlier today. And of course, I'll take the live questions too, okay? So again, beautiful day. The first thing I like to ask people is to provide information about where they're joining us from. Why do I do that? So people can relate, okay? I'll go first, okay? I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where it's absolutely gorgeous today. It's not storming and crazy like it was yesterday and this morning. Beautiful weather here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So post where you're joining us from. Let's see, and ask your questions. Okay, so the first question I have here is, I'm a U.S. citizen. Can I file for my sibling who is here already in the U.S.? The answer is yes. Okay, so that question is really incomplete, because what is really meant by this, I'm assuming, is you want to apply for your sibling, but you want them to instantly get a green card. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. Okay, you can file for your sibling. You have to file a request, a petition for your family member so that they can eventually get the right to get their green card. Um, it takes many years depending on what country you're in and what country you're from, because there's different wait periods for all different types of countries. I've done month after month, I've done videos about this. It's the Visa Bulletin. The Visa Bulletin is a publication that the government produces to show people the waiting periods depending on their country of origin and depending on the relationship with their sponsor. So check my YouTube channel, do a search for that, and you'll find my most recent video, which I think was a week ago, okay, for August. So check that out. But the answer is yes. You absolutely can sponsor your sibling. If your sibling's in the United States, it just might take a while for them to be able to get their interview scheduled, okay? So again, I've got friends joining me from New Jersey and the Philippines. Honestly, we get friends from the Philippines and New Jersey every week here. We also get people from all over the place, including Kansas. So again, post in here where you're joining us from. I would love to know, and so would some of the people who are watching. Again, if you have questions, post them in the comment section, okay? I'll go back and forth between the different platforms to answer the questions, as well as the questions that I had from clients that asked earlier today, okay? So let me see. Do we have any? I answered one question just now. Let me go over here. No way. We've got a friend joining us from Brazil. Welcome from Brazil. We're all very disappointed in your friend to the north, Colombia, in particular, that they did not win the Copa, but Argentina did. So congrats to Argentina. All of our friends from Colombia are very sad this morning, but that's just how it goes, right? Competition is rarely what you expect or what you want, but that's just the way it goes. Okay, so let me go here and look for some questions. let's see. Had a number of them earlier today that I wanted to share. Okay. So, where was that? Okay. So, first question I have, what if you don't send everything for an RFE, request for evidence, for a marriage-based green card request? Could they deny you? Um, could they or will they? Could they? Yes. Will they? Yes. So if you don't respond to a request for evidence and provide 100% of the information they're asking, they will deny you. The challenge is answering the right questions, okay? Because sometimes they ask questions that you're not really understanding what they're asking. And sometimes it's hard to understand what immigration is asking. So you answer what you think is right, and it's not, and they deny you anyway. So, you just have to do your best, or you get somebody to help you. I've been doing this for 11 plus years. I've been an attorney for 20 years. So I've handled a lot of these types of questions, RFEs from the government. Um, it's a weird time, as I've said repeatedly for months and months and honestly years. So you really want to know the right thing so you're not wasting your time and effort and money, and you don't go back to ground zero and have to start from scratch. Okay. So if you have a question, you need to reach out to me. Let me show you how to do that. I will post a link. If you want to reach out directly to me to ask your questions, you can do it by clicking this link um, and contacting me directly. Okay, here's the link. Bam, right there. Bam. Let me go over here and post it. So, because you can't be too sure. There's a lot of people trying to be amateur immigration attorneys, either for themselves or for other people. It typically doesn't end well because these things are very difficult sometimes to answer questions the right way. So don't screw around with it. Don't waste your money, time, and effort um, on somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. Okay. So check out my reviews, check out my profile. If you want to reach out to me, there's the link. Okay. So let's see here. That's that question. Then I had this question. Okay. Uh, I'd like to ask if I can get a tourist visa, but still process my annulment and still use my previous marriage surname or last name, depending on where you are in the country or the world. Thank you. Hopefully, you answer my question. Very big thanks. Okay, I can absolutely answer that question. That was from our friends at YouTube. Okay, so basically, changing names happens throughout immigration. People change names multiple times sometimes. Your name, as long as you're consistent, as long as you have an explanation or you have paperwork to show the name change, you can have a very different name than what you're born with. Okay, so the answer to this is yes. You can get a tourist visa. Typically, I say the name you're going to want to use for a tourist visa is the name that's in your passport because that's what you need to enter the United States. Okay, um, but yeah, if you're going through a divorce, your name is going to change in the future or it recently changed. Um, it is possible to use different names as long as you have that information that you can explain to the government why you have multiple names. And it's not just a good explanation, it's the backup documentation with that. So if it's a divorce decree, if it's marriage license, whatever it is, you're going to want to show that. Okay. Um, so again, let me see here. Questions. Lots of people join us from all over the place. I got somebody joining here from Colombia, and I spoke about Colombia earlier. So, Lilibeth, welcome from Colombia. Um, my friend has a VAWA case pending since 2021, and she has an I-360. What are your thoughts? Has not got anything on, hasn't got any information or response from the government. Okay. So again, VAWA cases take a little bit longer than some other types of cases. Okay, 2021, that is quite a while. So usually when cases are taking that long, it's because that the initial petition was filed either improperly or the government has questions about it. Usually they ask or they issue an RFE, request for evidence, so that you can explain things to them or provide information to them. Um, but these processes, especially VAWA, do take a number of years. 2021 to 2024 now, if it's taken much more time, you're going to have to reach out and ask immigration directly what's going on. Again, check out my YouTube channel and do a search about how to do that, because I do a video that will explain to you how you can reach out to them. So check out my channel and you can get that information on there. Or again, you can schedule a consultation with me and I can help you directly, okay? Um, let's see here. And again, I've asked people earlier to post in the comment section where they're from. We've gotten people from Brasilia, from Colombia, from the Philippines, from New Jersey. So again, it's all very interesting. We would love to know where you're joining us from tonight. Again, I tell people every week I'm here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Okay, so where are you from? Just let us know and post your question in the comment section. Okay, let me look here to see if there's any comments. Um, I'll get to this, Edwin. I'll get to this question in 1 second. Okay, I just wanted to find this so I can close my phone down. Okay, there was that. Okay, maybe I already answered it. Okay. Uh, if I don't get if you don't get visas to countries on time, uh, okay, I don't really understand what that question is, so I'm going to skip it and I'm going to move to the question that Edwin just posted. So, welcome, Edwin. Thank you for joining us and for your question. Um, let's see. Uh, okay, so this is the new pro in place process that is not released yet. Okay, so the question is somebody. Okay, Edwin, I see your follow-up question. So the question is, pro in place, spouse of U.S. citizen. That's the new process that Biden announced a few weeks ago. That's supposed to be released either at the end of this month or in August. I think it's going to happen in August. Okay, so the question is, if an applicant has a permanent bar, can they qualify for the pro in place? Again, we don't know what the qualifications are for certain aspects. I suspect no. Okay, somebody with a permanent bar, it really means that. Okay, permanent for usually 20 years. So it's not permanent for life. It's not a lifetime bar. Permanent bar means that you do not qualify for any immigration relief um, during that statutory period of time. Usually that's 10 to 20 years. Okay. I have a client that I was helping that got a permanent bar for 10 years. The government does not entertain any requests for immigration. You can't correct certain things. Only time can correct certain things. If you have a permanent bar, that's one of them. So, although Biden hasn't told us all the specifics about this new parole in place, I suspect that they immigration is not going to let people benefit from this if they have a permanent bar. It kind of defeats the purpose, right? Um, so stand by for that. As I get more information, I'll tell you whether I think that that's going to open up. But right now, I'm going to go on a limb and say that they're not going to allow people to do that. Okay, the same is generally true for the military parole in place. If you're in the United States, you're trying to do military parole in place. What does that allow you to do? It allows you to apply for a green card with an interview inside the United States. Okay, if you don't have the legal standing to be able to do the request for adjustment of status because you have a permanent bar, then the military parole in place isn't really going to help you. Okay, so permanent bars are darn serious. If you're certain that you have a permanent bar, then chances are not great that you're going to be able to do anything until that period of time has run. Again, that's usually 10 years, could be 20 years. Okay, if you have more specific questions, of course, you can reach out to me. Um, So yeah, again, Edwin, um, the only way I know of someone with a permanent bar to be able to move forward with immigration benefits is to let the statutory period of time. Statutory means the legal period of time that the government says you have to wait. You've got to let that go. So sometimes only time can cure certain things in immigration law, and the permanent bar is one of them. They're darn serious about that. That's why they call it permanent. Okay. Again, not to be confused with a lifetime bar. Okay. There's 3-year bars, there's 5-year bars, there's 10-year bars, there's 20-year bars, there's permanent bars, there's lifetime bars. Okay. So depending on the facts of your case, if it really is a permanent bar, again, I would like people that think that they have a permanent bar, like Edwin or the person that Edwin knows, to reach out to me so I can analyze the situation, see whether they really do have a permanent bar. Okay. And then go from there. Okay. So, excuse me. Okay. So let me go over here again. Please post your questions in the comments section so I can answer them like I've been doing with Edwin. Edwin, where are you from anyway? If you're still on here, what state, country you're on YouTube, um, where you're joining us from. I'm just curious. Let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep driving on. Estelita, it's always a pleasure to see you. It's always morning in the Philippines when you're reaching out to us. California, okay, Edwin. So thank you for joining us from California. Um, again, maybe contact me directly so I can get more information about the process to see if there truly is a permanent bar, or maybe it's a 10-year bar. Okay. 10-year bars are very different. 10-year bars, you can definitely get a waiver or things that actually forgive certain things. But if it's a permanent bar, if it truly is, then you are locked until that period of time goes by. Okay. Um, is there deferred action? Again, Edwin, permanent bar usually means that somebody was supposed to leave the country and they got a permanent bar against reentry. If that person's still here, it brings up a lot of questions that an attorney like me has about the immigration court process, about what the underlying crime was. So it's something that can't really be answered um, tonight. Okay, so if you want to reach out to me directly, click the link. I put the link before to do that, so I can help you figure it out. Okay, let's see. What do we have? We have um, King Bobo, order deported in 2008. I-130 is approved in 2015, but marriage is not stable now. Can I get a green card through my 1-year-old son? Well, King Bobo, you cannot get a green card through your 1-year-old son. You can get a green card through your son who's 1 year old now, but when he turns 21 is when you would be able to move forward with that. Okay. So again, the key is if your child was the product of a marriage to your significant other, then that's how you're able to qualify for sponsorship through your child. Okay. So if you're never married, that brings up problems. And again, I don't know if that's the case for you. I'm just throwing it out there because that is a common question with a lot of people, is how a child can sponsor a father. It's very different for a father than it is for a mother. Mothers, it is, it's assumed that a woman gives birth to their child, it is their child. That's not true of guys, okay? You've got to be married to that spouse. You have to be in that marriage. Basically, it's got to be a legitimate child. There's ways around that process. It's a bit complicated. And again, I'm not going to go over that now. If somebody had a question with that, you can reach out directly to me and we can talk about that. But you might have to wait for a number of years. King Bobo. Let's see. Thank you, Edwin. It's very kind of you to say. I appreciate you guys joining me too. Okay, it's nice. Oh, we got a friend from Facebook, Daniela, loves my shirt. Thank you, Daniela. Yeah, we cooked this little number up. Our immigrant shirt that actually, I think we have it available for sale. And this is not a plant. I swear to God. I mean, maybe it was, but But our immigrant shirt, I mean, you guys can read it, right? Without me reading it to you. We're very passionate about immigrants because we work with them, we're related to them, we love them, okay? So we're very serious about what we do. It is our passion, it's what we do. So thank you, Daniela, for noticing that. Um, yes, King Bobo, my pleasure to you, sir. Um, Stay in touch, right? Who knows when I might be able to help you, okay? Um, let's see what else we have here. Any other questions? Um, Okay, let me go over here to our friends in Instagram. Holy cow, there's a lot of people. So if you're joining us from Instagram, there's a ton of people on here. Please post your question in the comment section. Also post in there where you're joining us from. We have people from all over the place, from Brazil, from Colombia, from New Jersey, from California. Um, there was another one, I can't remember right now, but please post where you're joining us from. It's very interesting to find out where people are, okay? Um, so I answered that question about VAWA. Um, let's see here. Okay. If the asylum process have not received a green card, then 1 year later you married a U.S. citizen. Can it be changed? Can you change from asylum? Okay. So somebody entered the United States either specifically for asylum or later on ended up filing asylum for, let's say, a defensive process in an immigration court. The answer is yes. If you marry a U.S. citizen, can you stop your asylum process, or what happens to the asylum process? Can you move forward the green card through your spouse, your U.S. citizen spouse? Yes, 100%. I've helped many, many, many people do that. Okay, asylum is a very powerful tool that helps people who don't have any other means to do it. If you have other means where you're able to change your situation and you get married and that person can sponsor you, yes, you can change to the green card process through your sponsor, your spouse, and you don't have to be tied or stuck with the asylum process. Be careful with it though, okay? Because depending on the timing, when you do it and how you do it, sometimes the government is very skeptical, and it's possible that they could accuse you of committing immigration fraud, meaning you enter the United States for asylum and they say you didn't enter for asylum, you just entered to get some kind of immigration process, and now you found somebody and now you're moving on with a process. You never really had asylum to help you save you from your country. That's sometimes what immigration says. So that's why I say be careful with how you do it. But yes, absolutely, it is possible to do. I've helped many a client do this. Okay. Um, so if you have questions, again, you can reach out directly to me. Click on the link I posted above. I might be able to post it again here. Yeah, you can click that link if you want to reach directly to me so I can help you with that particular question. Okay, I'm going to post it here too. Um, so again, there's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of confusing elements to immigration, and that's no one on this broadcast is new to this. It's super complicated and it's easy to make a misstep. The asylum is one that the future of asylum is kind of uncertain. There's been a ton of changes to asylum, depending on your perspective, good and bad, right? So everything is political these days. Something that I try to stay away from. I don't get into politics because it changes when the wind changes, right? The point is, there's so many different alterations to immigration. You got to stay on top of it, okay? So asylum is one of those things that all this stuff at the border, southern border. Now it's a lot more difficult to be able to qualify for asylum than it was 4 months ago, 6 months ago. So you got to be careful when you're going through this process, okay? So reach out to me if you have questions because I've done tons of these and I would love to help you, okay? Um, let's see here. Do. Um, okay. So this is from Edgar. Um, where are you from, Edgar? Does it really matter? I'm just curious. Um, Okay, so Edgar's in the United States, I know that. Hello, Lee. I do have a question. I'm on the process of the application for the 601A, which is the provisional waiver process. Okay, I have two felonies from back in 2007. They were vacated by the judge, but I do have, one misdemeanor due to driving without a license from 2010. Do you think I'll be okay going to my appointment in Ciudad Juarez? Um, so Edgar, um, not our California Edgar. Um, so Edgar, that's a very interesting question, because the felonies, depending on what the crime was for, another stupid thing about immigration, a felony is a felony, but it really depends on what the crime was, because you can get punished for a felony, but if it was drugs or if it was murder, very different, right? So, depending on what it was, um, the 601A, once you get a decision, or you may have gotten a request for evidence for your 601A, typically speaking, immigration says when you file for your waiver, provisional waiver, they will either give you a request for evidence, or in the decision, they'll tell you, hey, you are going to be invalidated for other reasons other than unlawful presence, which is the 601A waiver. If immigration says you're no good, we don't think that you're going to be good when you go down to your interview. Under the Biden administration, they've actually been telling people these things. Under Trump before, they didn't tell you. You would go to your interview with an approved waiver, and then they say, "Ooh, guess what? You're screwed," and they wouldn't let you back. So Biden administration, they're kind of giving people a heads up about this, so that you might not need to leave the country and get stuck for 10 years. Okay, so you're probably going to hear in the near future when you get the results from your 601A whether you're going to be somewhat safe to move forward. Again, it depends on the history. This, again, Edgar, you said, um, 2007, they were vacated by the judge. So being vacated, being expunged, all these things are just very sophisticated ways of saying it doesn't matter. What do I mean that by that? What I mean is immigration law is very different than local or criminal state law. If you get something expunged, eliminated from your criminal record, it doesn't work that way with immigration. It never goes away with immigration. So that's why I say it depends on the facts of the case. It depends on what the conviction was for. It's not quite enough for a felony. I mean, you are going to have an uphill battle. But again, I would say wait for immigration to actually either give you a request for evidence, or they give you a notice of an intent to deny, or they just deny your 601A waiver, and they tell you that you have other problems other than unlawful presence. Okay, um, Edgar, you're in San Francisco. Okay, breaking into cars. Okay, honestly, I'd say breaking into cars, it ain't good, but that's not the sort of felony that really screws people over with immigration. If you said, killed somebody, or a serious felonious assault at the time of breaking into a car, you would have bigger problems. But just breaking in the car, that probably is not going to doom you for success with your waiver. Okay. Again, this is just me based on what you're telling me here. I'm not going to say 100% whether that's true or not, because I haven't reviewed the information. Okay. So Edgar, that gives you good information to move on with in the future. Okay. Um, Okay, so we've got a question on YouTube from Hopefully. Okay, thank you for joining us. Hopefully, I don't know where you're joining us from. Uh, my husband, my husband's I-130 was approved uh, by his parents in 2012. He was deported in 2012. He had two misdemeanors. How long for the 212? So the request to reapply or re-enter the United States is what the 212 is. El Salvador visa interview, how long is the wait? US Embassy, what are the chances of him getting rejected? You're calling us from, or you're joining us from Vegas, so hopefully life is good in Vegas. Um, Let me think about this. There's a lot in this little question. Um, okay. He was deported in 2012, two misdemeanors. So, so the I-212 application doesn't typically take that long. Um, so I would say with two misdemeanors, it's not a big deal. Okay. Again, it depends what the misdemeanors are, which is what I was saying before. Depends what the felony is, depends on the misdemeanor, because a misdemeanor in state law could be an aggravated um, felony under immigration law. So you got to be darn careful about these things. And that's why I always tell people to get a real complete answer, you're probably going to have to schedule a consultation. I'm probably going to have to do a file review or something like that so that I have all the information. So I'm not just answering questions that aren't really accurate because I don't have all the information. Okay. So, okay. Um, okay. So, holy cow, it's after 8:30. Okay. This is when I start to turn into a pumpkin and tell people that thank you for joining. We had a ton of people tonight, and we had really good questions. People from all over the place, all over the world, South America and the United States mostly. So thank you for joining us. Again, I'm here every week at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's Detroit time. Um, Next week, I'm going to make somebody click on the little link that I put on here so you can ask your question live instead of just typing it. Okay. I'm not really going to force you to do it, but I'm going to invite you once again to do it. And again, thank you, Daniela from Michigan, for pointing out, asking me about my awesome immigrant t shirt. Um, so thank you for everyone joining us. Um, we are here for you. Please join us next week again. If you have questions, you can always post it in our social media, or you can join me next week. Prepare your questions so I can get your questions in time before the time goes out. I'm already past my time. Again, thank you for everyone for joining us. A lot of friends that I see, a lot of people joining us, a lot of our repeat friends. So thank you once again. I sincerely appreciate your support. Um, have a wonderful rest of your week. See you later.